Hello and welcome to another Looney Tunes review video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to follow my journey to review all 1000 classic Looney Tunes shorts and give this video a like as well. So this is a review for 14 Karat Rabbit, and with me today to do his little dance to make me find some gold in them YouTube hills is my good friend Manny Cruz. Say hi!
My name's a money-making Manny, you varmint.
Money making...
I cannot do that again for the rest of this commentary because all the times Mel Blanc said that Sam shreds his voice, and he ain't kidding.
Oh, definitely. So as mentioned, this is 14 Karat Rabbit, released on the 15th of March 1952. It's the 644th of the series, and it's directed by Friz Freelink. You can find this on the Looney Tunes Golden Collection Volume 5 DVD set. There is a HD version out there, which I don't believe is available at this moment, but hopefully one day it'll come out soon. Preferably on a Blu-ray disc, some kind of a collector's edition, if you will.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Exactly. But at least it's on the beautiful Gold Collection Volume 5 set anyway. In case you haven't seen this one, as it's under copyright, so I can't show you the full cartoon here, but Chili Coat Sam is out for gold during the gold rush and notices that Bugs gets a little crazy when he's near gold. Hey, we all know what happens next and what Sam tries to do in relation to that information. Now, a few bits of trivia, first of all. So, the title is a play on the purity level for gold, and this is just in case, because not everyone knows about purity levels of gold, right? In this case, it's based off of 14 carat, C-A-R-A-T. That's the unit used for purity in gold. The highest you can go is 24, but that's usually considered to be too soft. So, for jewelry, they add other metals to strengthen. That's why it's usually either 8, 14, or 18. That's usually what the jewelry is. So there you are. We're going to change this to Anthony's Jewelry Talk, I think. Maybe get some more subscribers here. We talk about animation and jewelry because they go hand in hand. The term claim jumper. So in case for those who don't know, that's a dishonest miner. And in the 1800s, and we're going to get into when this set very soon because it's very weird, but at least in the 1800s, there were definitely a lot of issues with that. And even in Australia, there were definitely issues with that. We had our own gold rush, roughly the time California had their gold rush. And you definitely needed protection, be it a gun or weapon or whatever. And you needed to protect your claim, but a lot of the claim jumpers would come around, and if they saw there's potential in your claim, they'll get rid of you. So, yeah, there you go. Not that much different than if you have a company and a bigger company sees potential and tries to get rid of you. Well, in this case, they buy you out. So, same thing.
The moral of the story, always use protection.
Exactly right. Now, this continues the tradition that's slowly started not long ago with Sam being a prison guard, and he was part of an election in Ballot Box Bunny as well. Chillicoat, that he calls himself Chillicoat Sam in this one, so not Yosemite Sam.
Chillicoat Sam? Yeah, Chillicoat Sam. The roughest, toughest, rootinest, shootinest claim jumper that ever jumped a claim. And I'm a-taking over your claim.
So he's going to start now saying more of a different, like Riffraff Sam and other things, right? But Chillicoat, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, but it appears to be a Swanee Vanguard word meaning principal place or big town. But in Ohio, there is a historic town called Chillicoat. So I really don't know what it's relating to. It could be maybe from a movie that might have come out. Maybe the Chillicoat was referencing something there. So if you have a better idea as to what it might be, definitely let me know in the comments below. But I will say I would like some chili right now. I've saying Chillicoat a lot, but anyway.
I'm just thinking, I want a chili dog, and didn't help that as I told you before recording, I'm scrolling on Instagram looking at pictures from San Diego Comic-Con, which is going on right now as we're recording, or about to, and chili dog, Sonic the Hedgehog. Hey, Blue! Hey, just gave him a little shout out.
Yeah, my good friend Blue Genocide, the sometimes editor of this channel and sometimes collaborator too, so yeah.
And all the time, Sonic fanatic.
Exactly. Now, there is a saying in this one that Bug says, he goes,
"There's gold in them dar hills."
There's gold in them dar hills. And that comes from Mark Twain's 1892 novel, The American Claimant. So apparently he got the saying, but indirectly from someone in relation to him not wanting people to rush to California to mine for gold, otherwise there'd be too many people and so on. Apparently the original phrase was, there's millions in it. So yeah, there's a few things that's up in the air regarding it, but that's basically where that saying comes from anyway. And for those who aren't in the US, like me, I know this probably because of the James Bond film Goldfinger, but Fort Knox is in Kentucky, and that basically is, as the name suggests, a fort of sorts, and it's filled with gold bars. And before the 80s, the US and many other economies around the world would actually be based against the gold standard. So the more gold you had, the more richer your country is. But that's no longer the case. Now, I don't know what they do with all that gold now, but yeah, again, I'm not an economist or anything, but yeah, that's what Fort Knox is. And yeah, it used to be based on the gold standard. And just to put this cartoon into context, this came out in 92, Alaska, where it appears that they are mining for gold. That does not become a US state until 1950. Am I correct, Mr. Geography Manny?
Yes, Alaska was a 49th state admitted to the Union in 1959, and then a few months later, Hawaii became the 50th state in the same year.
Well, I get some gold stars, and which is appropriate given
Gold?
the
Sorry.
gold.
The entire time we're talking about gold, and I'm just thinking about gold rush days. Gold? They
Exactly.
found gold in a gulch.
But in this one is your typical Sam and Bugs short, but thankfully, look, it is a good one. What did you think from your initial watch through?
I hadn't seen this one. I can't even remember when was the last time I did. It's a good, serviceable Bugs and Sam cartoon. You get to the point now in the 50s, because I've said it before in other commentaries that my love of the Warner Brothers shorts is more like late, you could say the late 30s until the early to mid 50s. Or I guess another way of saying the pre 48 package, including the black and white shorts, because I guess those are the ones that I saw more frequently growing up. And also too, around this time period, this is when I start getting a little nervous because, especially in the case of, you could say, Frizz, he starts becoming a little bit more formulaic. He has his Bugs and Sam formula, he has his Sylvester and Tweety one, and I'm starting to see some of that in these shorts around this time period, but they're still solid gags. The animation's pretty, especially what we're going to talk about later on with the Bugs' dance. That one's really funny. And you can never go wrong with Mel Blanc. Not only his Bugs, but him doing Pierre, the gold guy at the shop. And anytime you hear him yelling at Yosemite Sam, just makes my day.
Oh yeah, and in this case, he says one of the best deliveries of "shut up" I've ever. Shut
I
up!
Hey, Sam!
Shut up!
I gotta isolate that and just have it on a soundboard or on my phone. Just someone's annoying you. Shut up!
Oh yeah, or maybe like an ex-girlfriend or something. That could be like the.
Oh,
It's
my
fantastic.
boss. Shut up! And then I get.
Exactly. You forget to change the ringtone. You're having a meeting with your boss, and he just starts ringing. Shut up! Oh dear, but that delivery that killed me. I thought that was a fantastic delivery.
Shut up!
And Melbank's delivery all around is just amazing in this period of time, and sometimes you even forget he's voicing two different characters here. In this case, and a third minor one, and it's just wow, absolutely fantastic. And some of the things he says in here, I love some of the quotes. There's hardly no reward for a day's work. Clearly, after claim jumping.
Pickings is mighty slim round here. Hardly no reward for a day's work.
And of course, it's getting so a man can't make a dishonest living no more. The line itself is funny, but even just the delivery is just perfect. It's fantastic.
Why, it's getting so a man can't earn a dishonest living no more.
And I guess we get a 2-for-1 in this short because we have Chillicothe Sam, but apparently he calls himself.
Square deal Sam, they call me.
That's something I always do, just like the different nicknames besides Yosemite Sam. Like you said, in the different shorts, depending on what he is, if he's a pirate, if he's a Roman gladiator, if he's this or that, like he always has a, I'm blankety blank Sam, and just credit to the things that the writers, in particular for this one, it was Warren Foster, just the things that they come up with to give him all these different occupations or gimmicks, so to speak.
There are two gags in here which I don't think maybe would sit well today. The first one that came up, and I get the gag, okay? I'm not saying it's not funny or anything, because I'm looking at this in the context of its time, but the whole thing about men are men and women are women, a darn good arrangement. Yeah. Say no more. I think we know what would happen if they tried to do a gag like that today. Just, yeah. We'll just say it'll be celebrated by some and not by others, yeah?
You just got to do the crusty groan.
And you pointed out another one, which I guess it makes sense, but Be cringy.
I love whenever Sam has his unique take on the English vocabulary. Great horny toadies, and when in Ballot Box Bunny, you play the pine. But in this one, when he's digging through and he digs by mistake and he's assuming that he's digging his way through China, the whole myth that if you were able to survive, obviously going through the Earth's core and dig your way across the world into China, but he's like, I'm a digging through the Chinese.
Great horny toadies! I must have dug clean through the tiny.
Maybe I'm reading too much into this, and I know somebody's going to yell at me in the comments, but just the delivery of Chinese, again, that's probably something that if you were to say that now, I'm going to Chinese, someone will give you a weird look and be like, what do you mean by that? I know someone will yell at me in the comments for it. Trust me, I know, especially when reading some of the comments for the Censored 11 ones we did. And yeah, some of the interesting feedback that you get back when you try to talk about anything that's been made. I would say pretty much anything that was made from the past 20 years and back, there's bound to be something that just does not age well in a modern context.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's just the nature of media itself.
Mm.
And hey, there's lots of stuff that I enjoy from the 90s, from the 80s, and yeah, hasn't aged well.
But thankfully, it's a good short, if maybe unremarkable perhaps. But hey, I laughed at a lot of things here. A few things I enjoyed. We got a Tex Avery-esque gag with the whole Last Chance Saloon and Next to Last Chance Saloon. I thought that was a pretty good Tex Avery-esque type gag there. But Sam's reaction to the massive gold rock that Bugs brings in, and you point out the animation of Bugs waddling is pretty cool, pretty good too. Just that I was holding all that weight because gold is heavy. In case those listening aren't aware, that gold is a very heavy metal. No, I'm not going to put a heavy metal riff here. No, but
Play a little
he's
Black
waddling.
Sabbath in the background.
Oh yeah, because I want this demonetized for sure
Yeah.
over a ridiculous gag. But anyway, but Sam's reaction not only to the fact that he's got this giant piece of gold, but of course Bugs just wants his carrots. He doesn't need money, and I thought that animation was fantastic. But the best bit of animation that makes me laugh is when Bugs goes into a spaz when he's supposedly near gold. They reuse it a few times, clearly to save money. It's kind of like predating anime, where they would do like a money shot and they would just keep reusing it throughout an entire series. Similar thing to that, but that animation of him going into a spaz is fantastic. I absolutely enjoy it. What was your favorite bit?
Probably that just every time Bugs was going into his little dance to find the gold itself. And also, I guess jumping ahead to the ending, I did get a chuckle at the ending where I think he said a streetcar has arrived and then it come in and then a ship and just randomly a cruise ship pops up. And that did make me chuckle, but at the same time I'm like, okay, that was a random ending.
I like the fact that Bugs he's with the audience. He breaks the fourth wall. He's like, yeah, I know. He just wants the gold. Yeah, I know. I thought that was fantastic, and
Hey, I like you. You're a good Joe. I like you so much, I'm gonna make you my partner. All you have to do is find the gold, and I'll share it with you 50-50.
Honest and for true?
does this short imply that Sam has met Bugs before? It's like how he says, "If it ain't my old friend, the rabbit." But you were saying it just sounds like he's just chatting him up.
That's what I'm guessing because this is before the cartoons were syndicated on television. I guess that's just him trying to be palsy-walsy with Bugs.
Things.
Well, if it ain't my old friend, the rabbit.
But at the same time, if you were familiar with the cartoons by seeing them in the theaters, and you would have a little bit of, oh, I get it, a little bit of continuity.
Oh, for sure. I guess the audience are like, they don't care. They just watch
Yeah.
this thing because they didn't think that nerds in their 30s are going to be analyzing this thing to death. But anyway.
Pretty much.
But speaking of analyzing, the way the film is set up, and up until we get to the map, basically, or pretty much once we see Bugs with the truck for whatever reason and the athletic gear, but it implies that it's taken place in late 1800s, like in some sort of gold rush period. But then, no, we end up in, I'm assuming it's Kentucky. The map doesn't quite go that far in that map sequence. And that's where Fort Knox is, right? But we're in the quote-unquote modern times, or at least 1950s, that kind of modern time there. Did you think it was all in the Gold Rush days?
Yeah, because I'm like, wait, is it set in the 1800s? And then I saw the truck, and then I saw this, and I think it's anachronism. There's a lot of anachronisms in this cartoon because, yeah, you think it's in the 1800s, right? This is in Alaska. The Alaskan Gold Rush was in sometime in 1896, 1897. So this is supposed to be 50 years before the cartoon was made. Also, when Sam cashes in his hard earned gold, and Pierre tells him that he only has about $10 worth of gold. I converted it, but to 1950 or 1951 standards, because assuming the cartoon was produced between those 2 years and released in 1952, $10 in 1950 would be $127 now, and in 1951 actually went down a bit, $117. It's a decent chunk of change, but yeah, this cartoon is very anachronistic, and it was making my brain go crazy. But yeah, because definitely the Klondike Gold Rush, 1896 to 18, let's say 1896 to 1899.
Oh, definitely. But again, I guess it's not meant to be analyzed. It's like, you know what? Just shut up and have a good laugh at it. But anyway, I just thought it was just a weird thing because it's, oh, why are we in the modern settings? But anyway, whatever. I thought it was still funny. But let's talk about some of the music. And my first question is, and probably a lot of people's question when watching this short is, what's that song that Bugs sings?
So the song that you hear is fiddly dee 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 dee. That's how the melody goes, somewhere like that. So yes, fiddle dee dee, and the song was composed by Sammy Kahn and Jules Stein. Now those names are pretty familiar if you've watched other Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies before, because some of their compositions have popped up in other cartoons. So for example, there's Music in the Land. You hear that one in the cartoon A Ham and a Roll. Another one I could think of is if you watch 1950s Boobs in the Woods, the cartoon, folks, the cartoon. That cartoon's opening titles is another composition from that team. There's Music in the Land, and also related to Looney Tune history. That song, There's Music in the Land, is from the film Two Guys from Texas that Bugs Bunny appears from 1949, that film. And another cartoon that features Sammy Kahn and Jules Stein's composition, and again, its opening titles, is The Leghorn Blows at Midnight. And that cartoon starts with Put 'em in a box, time with a ribbon. Those guys composed it. Oh, another one I could think of, The Ducksters. I'm in love. I'm in love. I'm in love. I'm in love. That cartoon starts with another one of their compositions. So they were definitely one of the more popular songwriting teams that Carl Stalling liked to lean on, just like Harry Warren and Al Dubin, which I talk a lot. If little wink, wink, nudge, nudge, if you listen to the early 30s Merry Melodies, I go into a little more detail with guys like that.
Fiddly-dee, fiddly-die, all I can see are rainbows in the sky. Oh, fiddly-die, doodly-dee-da, doodla-doodly.
Always like when Mel Blanc sings in Bugs' voice. It's nice. And he's been doing it a lot lately in a lot of the Freeze Freely shorts. Like he sang It's Magic in Rabbit Every Monday.
What's funny, I kept thinking of that cartoon because you asked me, hey, you want to do 14 Karat Rabbit? I'm like, sure. And I kept thinking about Rabbit Every Monday. And then I watched, I was like, oh, wait, he's not singing It's Magic. It's been quite some time since I've seen this one. So, like I said, the opening titles is What's Up, Doc? Fiddle Dee Dee is Bugs' song that he sings, and you also hear little snippets of it in the score. And speaking of opening titles for this cartoon, it's not a Kahn and Stein song. It's the very famous What's Up, Doc? That was composed by our beloved, our wonderful, good to his mother, Carl Stalling. In the beginning of the cartoon, after the opening titles, you hear the preludes when it's setting up the scene, the Klondike, 1896 or whatever. It doesn't say the date, but setting up the scene where men are men and women are women. And I mentioned in the commentary that we did not that long ago for Drip Along Daffy, because you hear the preludes. Ba, 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 da, dun. For many, many years, I heard that song in different cartoons. Even remember hearing it on Tiny Toon Adventures, but I never knew the name of it until recently. So yeah, Franz List, wrong number. You hear a little snippet of Sam's theme song, so to speak, the Erlkönig, der Erlkönig from Franz Schubert, ba, 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 bum, bum, ba. And another wink and a nudge to the commentary that we did for Bugs Bunny Rides Again, where I go into more detail with that one. But that's pretty much like Sam's theme song at this point.
The roughest, toughest, rootinest, shootinest claim jumper that ever jumped a claim. And I'm a taking over your claim.
It would be sacrilegious if Carl Sulling didn't use the Gold Digger song "We're in the Money" from Harry Warren and Al Dubin. Pretty much the theme song for every time they're cashing in.
Oh, I'm rich! I'm rich! Eureka! Gold!
At the end of the cartoon, when the ship pulls up, I got a chuckle out of hearing the song of the Marines. Over the sea, let's go, men. Shoving right off for home. It's actually a song about the Marines, but I always think of sailors. I'm thinking of Conrad the Sailor or Porky the Gob, that those two cartoons feature that song. You also hear a little bit of King Chanticleer in this cartoon, a little brief snippet of it, and you also hear Chinatown, my Chinatown. That one almost didn't register with me. It's when Sam and Bugs are walking up like the hill. It's a very brief cue, about 5 seconds long.
We ought to be getting near gold territory now.
But one song that I was reading the cue sheet, I was like, oh, I didn't notice it. It's a song called My Buddy. And you hear My Buddy during the scene where Sam is pretty much trying to butter up Bugs and trying to be his buddy.
Joe, I like you so much I'm gonna make you my partner. All you have to do is find the gold and I'll share it with you 50-50.
And once I found out the name of the cue, then I was like, oh, I get it. It's just, I love that. Some cues, I already know the melody, I already know the name of the song, and I laugh and I get the joke. But for this one, I'm just thinking, oh, it's just some pleasant music that Carl Stalling threw in the background. But then when I found the name of the song was My Buddy, and it's, oh, this guy's just trying to suck up to him to steal his wealth. I just like, mwah, chef's kiss, Carl.
In terms of a score, look, this is, I guess, I don't want to say serviceable, because I think this one is a little bit above serviceable. They had a few bits I really liked, and I'm a sucker for these Bugs and Sam shorts. I really am. Even the lesser ones I still enjoy. And I'm going to give this one 8 out of 10. I enjoyed it. The anachronisms, if I can talk correctly, or anachronisms, did hurt my brain a little, but
Ooh, he card reads good.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, I'm giving it 8 out of 10, and I'm going to assume you're going to give it that little bit lower, aren't you?
Yeah, I liked watching this one, but I've seen better Bugs and Sam shorts, and I had a few light chuckles here and there, but nothing too crazy about. But it's not an awful cartoon by any stretch. I'll give it a 7.5.
Okay. Yeah. It's a solid short, if maybe not one of the greatest Bugs and Sam shorts, because I think we've seen probably the best ones, but then again, there might be a few extra gems down the track. Who knows? I know of a few more that I can't wait to visit on this review journey, but yeah, that'll do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, take care.
Oh, look, my ship has arrived.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
But in a spot like this, a boat will do.